Hey peeps, welcome back to another video. I'm Volt, creator of the Alchemist Collective, and today I wanted to come to you with another video about alternative choices to webcomic hosting that aren't Webtoon or Tapas. And I wanted to make this video just based on my own experience. I know that there are a lot of creators out there that don't necessarily want to go to Webtoon or Tapas, so I'm giving you guys some alternatives. These aren't really anything new. I know they've been mentioned before, but I just wanted to share my experience with them because, I just wanted to share my insight. And if it helps you, it helps you. So yeah, let's get started. I'm only gonna do 3, by the way, because I'm not trying to be here all day, and I know you're not either. So I'm just gonna say that I'm only gonna share 3 of them for today. So the first one is Global Comics. So Global Comics, I actually joined this one a while ago, and they've been around for a while now, like maybe a couple years, maybe more than that actually. But they have a pretty good, solid website, very professional looking, very clean. It seems like they really listen to their user base as well. I know that they have a forum on their site, which is cool. You can talk to other people and get help. They have good features for comic creators and readers, and I believe they have an app now, because the last time I was there they did not, and now they do. I'm not too sure though, because I haven't downloaded it. I don't know if that's more optimized for the reader side though, rather than the creator side, which is what I'm more focused on. But if anybody can tell me, just let me know. I really need to go back and try it out. I did upload my comic up to a certain point there a while ago, so some of what I was saying, my experiences might be a little outdated. Yeah, it supports both regular page and vertical scroll formatting, I believe, and that's really cool. Features are really intuitive for creators to like just upload their work. Yeah, like I feel like they really have they have a Discord too that I was in for a little bit, and I liked how active it was, and I liked how the developers and the community people were like really involved in conversations and events and getting feedback and really listening to what the user base had to say, whether you were a reader or you were a creator. So that was pretty cool. I also think it has a lot of potential. I feel like I don't see a whole lot of like activity on there, but I think it's mostly because you're either a reader or you're a creator, and there's like one little forum in the corner and that's it. I like it. I think I have to utilize it more to get to know it a little better, but I think that a few of the things that I've noticed is that, like, again, it needs a little bit more of a user base. Community seems like isolated outside of Discord, Discord is a whole thing that I might talk about on a whole other video, but like I keep running into this issue where like Discord becomes this walled garden where it's like the communities aren't really open anymore, which can be a good and bad thing. But at the very least, their Discord is very active and very responsive, so I really think it's a real contender to look out for. That's just about it for the notes. I'd say give it a try. There's no harm in putting your comic up there, see who reads it. I feel like it's a lot of creators who also read other comic creators' work, and not necessarily people from the outside, but hopefully the app, which is, I believe, relatively new, hopefully the app can kind of get more people into their ecosystem and get more of the word out. I myself want to use Global Comics a lot more, so the accessibility of it is really nice. So moving on to the second one, Tumblr, an oldie but a goodie, I guess. It has like 1 or 2 comic layouts last I checked, but you can customize your blog however you want, because that's what it initially is. It is a blog platform, so that's how it's going to operate, more so than a comic site. And this can be a good or bad thing depending on what you're looking for. So the tagging system can really help your comic potentially be found. Your audience can communicate with you via asks and comments. I've tried this a while ago, back before the Tumblr purge of 2018. I used to host my comic potions guide on Tumblr, and I used to have asks open, and there'd be just like random people asking the characters really questions, and I would like draw an answer, and it was a lot of fun actually, and I really missed that. I wish like I could go back to that, and hopefully I could, but we'll see. I'm kind of slowly trying to inch my way back to Tumblr because I do like it as a platform. It's kind of a shell of its former self, but that's just kind of how it is when you purge over half of your user base. But yeah, like the audience can share your pages via reblogs, and that's how your comic gets out there. The only thing I would say about Tumblr is that the interface is a little crusty. So like for all their updates that they've done, I feel like the archiving system isn't optimal for having a webcomic on the site. At the very most, I would say it's good for a mirror. It's not good for a main like hub for your comic, although it could be. I feel like gag comics and like kind of one-off comics pages do better there rather than like a whole series, because you're reading in reverse chronological order. So I guess to get to the first page, you'd have to go all the way back to the archive, and you kind of have to manually link the next and last pages every time you go to post. So that's kind of tough when you have like a long form comic like I do. So that's why I've been kind of reluctant to get back on and like make Tumblr one of my mirrors again, because it was easier when it wasn't a series, and now it is a series. So I guess I'll figure it out. Like I said, it does have 1 or 2 templates for webcomics, so hopefully you can optimize it like that. The other thing I would say is that the user base, because of the Great Purge of 2018, I'm not going to describe what it was, but there are less people on there now. It's a smaller user base, so you're going to have a harder time finding people, but when you do find people, they tend to like really like what you do. So just, if you really are interested in posting on Tumblr, just keep posting there. It's just, and it doesn't hurt to have another mirror, right? Like, which I don't even know if I described what a mirror was, but you have your main space that you post your comic, like say, like your main website, right? But then you want to put it elsewhere where people can find it, so you mirror your pages on other sites. So like, oh, say I have like my main site, and then I have also Tumblr, and then I have Global Comics, and I have Comic Fury, you know, like that's the kind of thing. Like, it can be extra work, but it does get more eyes on your work, because you never know where people are going to come in from. So yeah, the last thing I would say, and I think I mentioned this earlier, is that long form comics and like original works may struggle due to Tumblr's fan culture, fan community. So you have to get really creative with like original works. You have to get really creative with like the tagging and the way you're describing it, and the presentation of it. I would say, actually, I don't know if this is true or not, because I hear all kinds of different things, so I take it with a grain of salt, and you should too. But when you go to put a description under your picture or your artwork, if you try to link out, your post won't show up in tags. And I don't know how true that is, but my other strategy was, like, if you didn't want to actually post your actual comic on Tumblr, you could like use it as sort of a redirect to your actual page that you do update on. You know what I mean? So like, it's not the actual page, but it's a preview of the page saying that you updated, or like art that you can promote on your Tumblr, that you can then tag and like share or blog or whatever. But I don't know how true that is, that it like suppresses you in search, so take that with a grain of salt. But I will say that the tagging system can work for you if you tag your comic correctly. But yeah, just besides the archiving and the way the blog functions, I would say just give it a try, see what happens. And if you have tried it, or if you are on Tumblr, let me know. I would love to know. I would love to see what you do there. What were your experiences when you were there, basically? The last hosting website that I would like to talk about is Comic Fury. Comic Fury, my beloved, my heart, my soul, my ancestors, hear my cry. I love this website. Okay, this is like my favorite mirroring website. I don't mainly host my comic on Comic Fury, because my main host is my own site, but I'm not gonna lie to you, Comic Fury gets more readers, like more genuine readers, only because it does have a user base. Now, I'm gonna say all the good things about Comic Fury, and because I'm biased and I save the best for last, I'm gonna tell you why I like it so much and why I recommend it to just about anybody. So Comic Fury, first of all, does support page and scroll. It used to not support scroll, because this is an older website now. I've been a user on this website for like 10 years almost. I had a gap in my being there, but like I came back because Comic Fury was the only reasonable place that I knew I would like posting in, that I was familiar with already. So I've been kind of in and out of Comic Fury for a while, but it does now support scroll, and it makes you don't have to like reformat your pages. It makes page format more scroll friendly on phones and tablets, so that's really cool. It's just one guy really developing the site. It's one guy for the site development and then like a couple of mods for the forums. But you can customize your site however you like, and this is what I love about it, because there are a lot of websites that let you host, but they don't really have a space for you to, like, aside from maybe like a banner and an icon, there's no real space for you to really like dive in and like design your website. Just give it a try. It's like HTML, CSS if you know those things, but if you don't, there are templates that you can use, like, and they're all really good and really functional. Just by default, you can have your comic up in an afternoon. It's great. The one thing that I really want to emphasize for Comic Fury that's great about it, that I haven't really experienced and I don't even have on my own main website because my plugin doesn't have it, is the batched and scheduled page uploader, which is such a big feature for me for bulk upload. You can bulk upload your pages and set them to update on an auto scheduled release, and that is just like a game changer for me. Part of me wishes that I just like made my main site Comic Fury and then made my website after the fact, but I do like to have more than one place so that, like, in case anything happens, rest in peace Smack Jeeves, then I still had my own website, because you can never be too safe, you know, you can never be too comfortable anymore, right? But you know, Comic Fury is pretty solid, but I really want to emphasize that this is like the jam. Like, you can just, if you I make my pages in like batches, so like there's groups of pages that I can schedule out and upload, and I just set it and forget it. I don't have to do anything else. It's less than like an hour. I can just like upload everything and then just have it ready to like just auto upload as I schedule them. And I can do this. I can schedule my pages on my main website, but I can't do that in bulk. So it's just so nice to be able to do that. I'm just gonna like sing the praises of that function, because oh boy, like there were a lot of people that came in from when Smack Jeeves shut down and they had their whole archive and they didn't want to go through 600 pages. So I guess like this was a solution. I'm not sure when this was implemented. Maybe it was always implemented. I don't know, but it's freaking great. The other thing that I would say is the community is great. The forums are very active and people participate in them, and like you can have discussions and play forum games and get critique and like just see what people are up to. I would not count this as a built-in audience though. This is more like an actual community of other creators. There are readers on there too that like to talk to people, but I wouldn't say that this is a built-in audience in the same way that Webtoons is, where it's just like a bunch of readers looking for things to read. It's like usually creators getting together and like talking to each other about like the process or what they ate last Friday or their kids or whatever. It's pretty cool. It's pretty chill. One of the things I will say about Comic Fury is that the site is a little old-fashioned. Kyo, the webmaster, I'm calling him the webmaster because this website is kind of a relic. He plans on redoing the layout, I think, to update it a bit, give it a new coat of paint. But I can see why this might be off-putting to new users, although I would try to look past what it looks like at its face and give it a chance anyway, because it can get a little buggy, but it is a solid site for your comic, no matter what kind of comic that you make. So I'm just gonna spin all the negatives into positives, aren't I? Like, I do like one more thing I like about it is that you can find just about any kind of comic on here. It's not like a website you go to and you're like, you look at the library of most popular comics and it's mostly like one genre. There's all kinds of genres here. Especially like if you really want to find a Pokemon comic, you will find it here actually, and there are a lot of pretty cool ones, so do check that out. The only other thing I would say is that the instructions for customizing your site might be a little obtuse. It ties in with the older site con, but if you don't enjoy messing with HTML, your options outside of getting help may be limited to like the default templates, which is still better than no customization. Like, I think you can like learn in an afternoon how to put in some basic like pictures or a background to make it a little more personal for yourself. But you could still ask for help in the forums though. So that's my experience of Comic Fury. It's the one that I really recommend and the one that I prefer outside of my own website. But yeah, just give it a shot, see what happens. Talk to people in the forums, it's great. I wanted to go over some honorable mentions though, because there are a few that I have kind of played around with, and others that I'm looking at, but I don't want to sign up to like 50 million websites to do one video. Maybe I'll do another video in the future about like Dilly Hub or Flofo, which I've heard of those two, but I'm not sure what state they're in. So I'd like to join a little later to see where they're at the time that I do research it properly. But those two aren't on the list for that reason. I don't have any experience with them. And if I don't have experience with it, I'm not gonna like try to really talk about it, you know what I mean? So maybe it'll be in another video, and if you're interested, just let me know and I'll get to work. But the honorable mention I want to talk about is Drunk Duck, or it's now known as The Duck, right? It used to be known as Drunk Duck Comics, but it's a similar style to Comic Fury. I'm not actually sure which one is older, but I think it might be Drunk Duck actually, but they're both similar in style. They're both from the same era. I may mirror my comics on this site soon to get a better idea of what the community is like, but I do know that they do have an active forum, and I know they have like a podcast, and they do have a Discord, neither of which I'm joined to, but like they are very active in the webcomics community. They put out like creator questions on their Twitter, which anybody can answer. You don't have to be part of the Duck. The community, from what I've seen, is actually quite nice. Like it's like a really lovely community that is very welcoming. So I will consider like mirroring my site there just to see like what it's like. But yeah, that's another option. And the last option I will say, the honorable mention that is not on here as a alternative because it can be a little prohibitive, is that you have your own hosted site. And I've been hinting at this the whole video, but honestly, I have one of these, and I'll be honest with you, it needs more love. Honestly, it needs a little more love, a little more maintenance. But I do like having my own place to put my comics. It's always good to have your own place. You never know, like any site could just go down one day. It can just like be wiped off the face of the internet, and all your stuff would go with it. But you can put whatever you want on there. Put your blurbos on there. Put your art that people made for you on there. Put your favorite links to your favorite comics, your web rings, your RSS feed, or like whatever you want. Put it on there, and it's great. Like you could just put your Patreon on there, and you know, like it's also, you can put a blog on there. It's like, so the sky's the limit with your own website. So it's so good. The only thing I would say about having your own website is that it's hard to drive traffic to individual sites these days because social media has such a chokehold on people that it's hard to get them off of one platform and onto another, much less a website. It can be an extra expense if you don't necessarily need it right away. I did this. I kind of like got a site as soon as I had a comic live. Actually, I had it on Comic Fury for a while before I actually started building my own website because I needed somewhere to put it while I was building my website. It can be an extra expense. There are like free places to host your site if you don't have resources or the money to like get a host and then get a domain and like all this other technical stuff. It might be a little prohibitive, so I don't recommend it for everybody right away, like right off the bat. It's something that you can consider later on, maybe when you have a bigger readership. I don't have a big readership, I just wanted somewhere to put my stuff. So I can't recommend it to everybody, but if you want an extra site, it's good to have. It's good to like link your shop or your blog or your whatever else that you want to link, and like I said, sky's the limit. The last thing that I would like, I guess, honorably mention is Patreon or Ko-fi. It's only good if you already have a decent readership though, especially with Patreon. It's okay for putting extra goodies and comics on there, but it's not got a great archiving system, and it can be a lot of pressure and stressful depending on the workload that you give yourself. I think that like if you have a strong community, you can do that with your Patreon. I closed mine recently, but that's only because I'm revamping it, and I don't think I want to put like early access anymore. I just want to put only like exclusive extra like mini comics or extra goodies and extra art on there as like an extra thing. I don't know how many times I'm going to say extra in this sentence, but you get my point. But you already have to have a decent readership, so I'm going to hold off on it and like maybe wait until people ask me, or if I like have more stuff on there first. So yeah, it can just don't stress yourself out over monetizing your webcomic so soon either, because that's kind of not the goal. And if it is the goal, you might want to consider Webtoon, I guess, because they're the ones that are always pushing people to like monetize their work as fast as possible or get as many followers as possible. I've said this before that Webtoon is just like 3 social media sites in a trench coat cosplaying a comic hosting site. So if that's the route you want to go, I'm not going to knock it. Just be aware that it's a totally different animal, really. But if you're in it to just like kind of chill out and post your stuff and just have somewhere to have it hosted, and you enjoy making your comic, which is like number one, should be number one on your list, then consider these options that I have just described to you. The thing that I look for is a strong creator community. I like chatting with others about the process. I like getting critique and discussing the ways in which we can all improve. And I think that's what's missing from the more modern platforms like Webtoon. Like, there's a lot of like nuance missing, and everybody has to go to like Reddit to like talk about Webtoon meta or something. But if there's like somewhere for people to go to talk, then I think that you've got a pretty good thing going. And that's rare nowadays because everybody's going to their 50 billion Discord servers, and that's kind of exhausting. But where do you host your comic? Let me know what you think. And what do you think of these sites? Have you used them? Do you like them? Do you not like them? Let me know in the comments below. And let me know if there are any other places that you think I should either cover or that you think I've missed that you would like to add, because I like talking about these kinds of things. So do let me know in the comments below. Take care, everybody. Bye bye.